Yes, guys, welcome back. And great news. Liverpool won a game before minute 75. Uh, Premier League update. We got, like always, your boy Derz. Say what's up, Ephraim.
We got Ephraim and the stew. You know how we doing?
Yeah, so Premier League update. Last time we talked about the Premier League, we're 3 weeks in. It was right before the international break. And a couple games have happened. 2 weeks of Premier League football has happened. And yeah, a lot to talk about. Kind of just opening it up as of right now. Chelsea, since the last time we talked, tied to Chelsea. Chelsea tied to Brentford, and then lost to Manchester United. Uh, just kind of a whole. I don't. I don't know what's going on. Enzo Maresca, I think, is a good coach, but I mean, the Brentford game, you tied in the last minute, a corner kick. And then you go on to Man U. Within 5 minutes, your goalie gets a red card, and within 20 minutes, your whole attack is subbed off. Just a lot of overthinking and a lot of bad decisions. Me personally, that's the only way I could decipher this all. It just doesn't seem like he's. I wouldn't say he doesn't know what he's doing, but it just seems like there's some questions to be asked. I feel like taking out Cole Palmer, Pedro Neto, and Estebao. I think it's just way too early. You're just kind of giving up the opportunity for Manu, and it almost seemed like you were going for the 0-0 after the red card. Once Manu scores, you take out Palmer, and it's kind of like now it kind of seems like you want to go for a loss 1-0, and you don't want to lose by more. Um, Luckily, Casemiro gets a red card, I guess, for Chelsea's sake, and things start to level out. But yeah, I just don't know what's really going on in Enzo Maresca's head right now. Um, I think if he had any hair, he'd be pulling it out, but he's bald. So, how did you see this game?
The Man United Chelsea. I mean, yeah, they Chelsea was just in shambles. I mean, their goalkeeper coming out 3 minutes in, red card, bro. It was. I remember seeing it, and I was just like, oh my god, it's gonna be like you have to give a red card there. Last man. I was hoping he got the ball somehow. They were gonna go to VAR, but no, he straight hit him 1-on-1. I mean, what was Chelsea even doing there? Like defense was too high or what? Long ball. Uh Umbomo too fast. Like there's just so many questions, and maybe he should have stayed and not got the red. Would have been a whole different game. Take the goal, but it's obviously it's at the heat of the moment. You see the ball, you think you get to it as a goalkeeper. You got to commit. He committed. I don't think it was the right choice. Red card, boom, and it's barely minute three, bro. And it was well. There goes the whole game. Just thrown out the window. Maresca, obviously, he's got to manage. So you lose Esteval because you need a goalkeeper. Your goalkeeper's out. Bring in a goalkeeper, and then he just tries to get too cheeky with it. Tries getting too crafty. I mean, you take out Palmer, who's arguably your best player, and then just starts. Who else does he take out?
He took out Neto.
Pedro Neto for Adarabiyoyo and Andre Santos, who I don't know much about these players, but it just seems like he went in to defend. And I mean, I'm not a manager. I don't know what the fuck to do in these situations, but I played a lot of FIFA, and that's not something I would do. Maybe, yeah, maybe bring another defender. That way, you're obviously one man down. You don't want to get steamrolled, but you took out damn near all your attackers. Now, what are you supposed to do? And then Bruno Fernandez, not even 10 minutes in, gets his goal. And at halftime, you see Casemiro get a red card, and you're like, all right, we might have a game. Chelsea's pushing, pushing, but they able to get in one goal. Uh, who scores that goal? Chaloba, yeah, the header. And I was just there thinking, like, if Chelsea's actually going to compete in the for the title, versus a arguably shit Man United. You know what? Not arguably, they are shit, and they finally have 10 players, and they have a whole half to score two goals or three. and you're only able to score one. And I mean, for me, that just tells you Chelsea's not ready. They're just not ready for the title, and it seems like they're going to be battling it out for top four. Which I mean, at the beginning of the season, I mean, before the season, I had a lot of faith in Chelsea. I mean, obviously, they won the Club World Cup. They won the uh, what was it, the conference? You know, they were looking good preseason. They look like title contenders, and now, I mean, we're looking back at a Chelsea from last season. You know, the top four contenders. It's a shame, but I mean, there's still a lot of games. Can't do anything. But the last three games for Chelsea have not been it.
Yeah, I think I don't know. His substitutions were very off in my opinion. I think he was trying to maybe. I think the Esteval substitution, fair enough. You know, you need a goalkeeper, right? So you need to take somebody out. Might as well take out one of the wingers since Joao Pedro can tuck in and play a deeper role. He doesn't have to be like an out and out striker, right? And then I think the Neto decision was not the best decision. Neto is a fast player who could exploit spaces that Man United leaves as they push more players ahead in an effort to try to counterattack. I don't think the putting on, I think his name is George. I can't say his last name, but I think he goes by George. I don't think that there was much of a need to bring him on. And then bringing in Andre Santos for Cole Palmer, just kind of that's just lowering your attack. I don't know if he was saving him for whatever reason that we don't know. Maybe he's hurt, but I don't think he's hurt because I think I heard that he went straight into the tunnel right after that, which shows that he's obviously fit enough to play. He's just mad about the situation and he left. So I think poor management from Enzo Maresca, but I think even more worse, I guess, worse management from not Amorim, but Casemiro. You're the most experienced player on the field. You've your your resume is beyond anybody else on that pitch. Why go in that tackle? Why risk a red card? Why do any of that when this could have been easily a 5-0 win for Manchester United, a huge eco boost, a huge opportunity for Sesko to score, for Cunha to score, for all these players to get their get the ball rolling.
Confidence
And
up.
exactly. That red card completely disassembles Manchester United, and you just expect more from a player like Casemiro with his hierarchy and everything. But it is what it is. Manchester United. We both expected them to do better, and I think that they're not doing that well, to be honest. Another team that we expected to do better and is not doing so well is Aston Villa. We talked about them last time, how they're in the relegation zone, 0 goals scored. And as of now, they've only scored 1 goal. They tied against Sunderland. And Sunderland, that was kind of a weird game. They also got a red card pretty early on. Really stupid tackle. He just straight up kicks. I want to say it was Rogers. And yeah, I mean, they go on, they score. But it was a banger too. Cash, he scored a banger, but then they end up tying the game with a man ahead, like with one more man. Um, Austin Villa, it's hard to say it because it's like it's not like they sold any of their players. For the most part, the squad's the same. Some of the wingers left, yeah, but they brought in Elliott, they brought in Jadon Sancho, which Jadon Sancho is, it is what it is. But you just expect better from this team, honestly, to be this low of position and to have only scored 2 goals this season. I think it's just 1 goal. Yeah, they've only scored 1 goal this season. This is a team that's was in Champions League last season that almost beat PSG in the Champions League. What's going on? I mean, it's not like they got a new coach or anything. It's the same squad, yet they just cannot perform, and they haven't been playing the toughest of oppositions. We're talking about Brentford, who's completely been disassembled. They lost 3-0 to Crystal Palace, who again lost a lot of their key players, or I guess Eze more than anything. They tied to Everton, who sure Everton's been growing, and then you lose or you tie to Sunderland, a newly promoted team. I don't know. I think question marks have to be asked. Is it time to sack? I don't think so, but something has to change. To be honest.
Yeah, man. I mean, Aston Villa. were charged. They missed out by a point from Champions League by a couple goals. Actually, they tied in points. And Aston Villa has been a good performing team. I mean, against PSG last season, they looked like they almost had a chance of beating them. They almost came back on them. And on this Sunderland game, I mean, Sunderland is one man down, and they still manage to score on you, and you don't end up you spend an hour with the man down playing against a team with a man down, and you can't beat this Sunderland team. And I mean, no disrespect to newly promoted teams, but I mean, you were fighting for Champions League last season, you know. But I mean, newly promoted teams, they always have something to prove. So, all right, but where is Watkins? Where is Rogers? Last season, the last two seasons, they were beasts. They were wrecking things up in the Premier League. Now, I mean, Matty Cash is having to be the best player in your team right now because your top four aren't doing anything. And those are the players you rely off on. And I mean, maybe you didn't go big in a transfer window, but you still brought in Elliott. You brought in, or you lost Leon Bailey. It's not like you played him much last season, towards the end of last season anyway. But it's still the same team, same manager. For you to only have one goal out of 5 games is just. I know if I was an Aston Villa fan, I'd be like, "What the hell is going on to my team? Like, that's not who I recognize." I don't know if there's any bad juju going on, or uh, I don't know if it's some Ted Lasso thing going on, but they're not figuring it out. You brought up a good question. Is it time to sack? I mean, that's going to be a tough call because I mean he has brought him to higher places, so you got to respect that. Maybe he's trying something out. He's realizing, all right, maybe it's not what I thought it was. Let's go back to what did work. So maybe it'd be too soon if they did that. But I mean, if it stays like this, changes is going to have to happen. Changes are going to have to be made, whether it's the management, manager, owner, whatever. But Austin Villa, I mean, I just hate seeing him like that because I was a big fan. Especially the Watkins and Rogers. I thought Rogers was a beast, but I don't like seeing them like this. And my boy Harvey Elliott is in there too now, so it's like, all right, something's got to change. And on Sunderland's side, though, props to them. They managed to keep to scrape a tie with the man down. Uh, do the Sunderland have Henderson or who has
No,
Henderson?
that's Brentford. They have Shaka.
Brentford. They have Shaka. Okay. Well, good for Shaka. I mean, I feel like he's a big influence with them, but I mean, GG to Sunderland for being able to get that tie. But as an Aston Villa fan, you're probably not the happiest person right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. The relegation battle, I guess. We have Aston Villa, we have West Ham, and we have Wolves. Wolves 0 wins from 5 games, and it's crazy because I was pretty confident that these newly promoted teams were going to go straight down, but we have Burnley, who's the lowest out of the newly promoted teams, at 16th. We have then Leeds at 12th, and then Sunderland's at 7th. So this might be a season where they all stay, which would be really good for the sport because I think a lot of questions were being made where it's like, the Premier League and the Championship were just too. There was too much of a gap between them, where all the teams were just coming up and going straight down, and coming up and coming straight back down. And if they could stay, then to me that's a good sign that one, the Championship is growing, and two, that you know it's not always about being the wealthier club or being a more consolidated club. Like, this is soccer, football. Anything can happen. The worst team could beat the best team, and and yeah. So it'd be good to see. And I think, as much as I want to say, like, Wolves and West Ham could potentially go down. I mean, based on last season, Wolves, they really turned it around in January, and that could happen again. We'll see. Me personally, I don't think that that's a smart decision. But how are you seeing the relegation zone right now? Are you thinking we're going to see some new teams getting I guess, relegated.
Yeah, I mean, I think what this just goes to prove is just how tight the Premier League is, you know? How hard it is to get in and stay in because it almost seems like, you have to be on your A game or else you're going down. I mean, you have a couple bad games, you're not the best after having such a great season. That's all it takes and you're getting relegated, you know? And the other teams are not going to let off, they want to stay in. Look at Leeds. Sunderland's in 7th. And I mean, Burnley's at the cusp, but I mean, I didn't expect to see West Ham and Aston Villa being down here. Maybe West Ham, uh, but Wolves. I think we both had them relegating, so we didn't have the highest hopes for Wolves, but I didn't expect 0-5, which shambles. 0 points, which just sucks to see. I mean, I think it's good for the league. New teams. Just goes to show how tough it is. Well, I think it'll stay these three. Probably not. A lot of shifting going on. Brentford's right there. Burnley's right there. Nottingham surprisingly is close, but I mean, I think it's still too early to really see anything. I mean, between 13th and 20th, or well, technically 19th because Wolves has no points, but there's only 3 points separating them. So super close. Too early. Yeah, we'll see if Aston Villa and West Ham step it up because if they keep it up like this, we won't be seeing from them, and that's a big, especially for West Ham. When's the last time they've been relegated?
It's
I don't
been
know,
it's
but
been a long time since I've watched the Premier League. I don't think they've been relegated. I know Aston Villa was relegated not too long ago,
I
and
think they're
Wolves came
promoted.
up not too long ago. But the thing about West Ham, I think more than anything, is they have a lot of money. They have a lot of investments getting pulled into them. So for them to be in that zone, that's a big, big, big disappointment, I guess, to say the least. Aston Villa, they've been kind of riding off that Grealish sale, and I think they did very well because I mean they got into Champions League. But but yeah, I think that they definitely have the squad and they have the managerial expertise to be able to get there. Aston Villa, at least. But it's going to be interesting to see how this story unfolds. We'll keep on updating everything about it as the season goes. But yeah, I think another interesting story this season is Bournemouth. They lost a lot of key players, and they brought in some players right to make up for it. And they're currently sitting in fourth place, uh, beating Tottenham. They beat Brighton. They tied to Newcastle 0-0, which I think these are all good signs to show that Bournemouth is really here to contend for the season. I don't think they're going to stay in the top four, but I think I had them projected top 10, and I would like to see them like get a Conference League position. Um, I really rate this team mostly because they do have a Mexican player, Julian Araujo, who doesn't really play, unfortunately. But but yeah, I think it'll be. I don't know. I just like this team, and even though they lost a lot of good players like Kirkes and Hoyson, um, they're actually managing to keep pushing, and they're in the top four, beating I think teams definitely bigger than them like Tottenham.
Yeah, man, they're a good shout for this season. They've been tough. I mean, from the first game they played Liverpool, they gave Liverpool a run for their money. And many people were thinking, oh, it's just a fluke, or wasn't giving Bournemouth the respect they deserved. They beat Spurs, they beat Brighton, and they tied Newcastle now. I mean, they beat Wolves, but everybody's beat Wolves. So Semenyo's a beast, man. Semenyo's a beast, and defensively they're looking good. They're looking good just as a team, as a unit. So they're gonna be one. They're gonna be the dark horse this season, I think. Typically Brighton is knocking points off the top six. You have teams like that. I think that's gonna be Bournemouth this season. They're gonna be tough to beat, and yeah, I mean I'm happy for them. Like you said, there's a Mexican there, so represent. Uh, they're knocked out of the FA Cup already, so all they could really focus on is, I mean, the league and what the Carabao. So they're gonna have rest days. they have a good team. They're gonna be a force to be reckoned with this season, and I'm here for it. Let's go
Yeah.
cherries!
Yeah, up the cherries. They got knocked out of the Carabao Cup. The Carabao Cup is going on right now,
Oh, it's the
but they
Carabao
still
Cup.
have. Yeah, the FA Cup is later in the season. So yeah, I mean, definitely, I think it's good for teams like this that strive are striving for European football to not necessarily focus on the cups. I know the cups are a good entryway into like the Europa League, when you win the FA Cup, right? Not the EFL Cup, the Carabao Cup, but winning the FA Cup does put you into Europa League. So that's one avenue. But I think that the Premier League might be their best bet just because financial reasons too. I think the payout is more than winning the FA Cup. Winning an FA Cup is huge too, but it's kind of a huge bet because getting within the top eight gets you Europe versus getting first place essentially in the FA Cup. You have to win the whole tournament. So that could be, you know, I guess, just something that goes on in their head, I guess, as far as what they want to, where they want to invest their full strength squads into. But yeah, I mean, I really rate Bournemouth. Their coach is a young Spanish coach, and I think we've been seeing just a whole wave of these young Spanish coaches really doing well throughout all of the top five leagues. So yeah, that's Bournemouth as of this season. I want to talk about Manchester City. Last time we talked about Manchester City, they were not doing well. They lost to Brighton. They lost to Tottenham. And since then, they beat Manchester United 3-0 pretty comfortably, I would say. They went on to play in the Champions League. They beat Napoli. Fair enough. Napoli had a red card, but still pretty comfortable win at the end of the day. They go on to the Emirates Stadium and tie against Arsenal. Not the best Man City showing. Very, very defensive. After their first goal, they full on went on defense, trying to protect that lead as much as they could. Martinelli comes in at the last minute. Well, there's still some time left after he scored, but he scores in the 93rd minute out of after they added 7 minutes, right? So there's still a little bit of game left, but yeah, I mean Arsenal getting a tie against Manchester City. I think that's, in my opinion, a loss. But I think for Manchester City, as far as how their season has been developing, I think a tie at the Emirates Stadium away from home, I think that's huge. And I think we're starting to see those sparks of what Manchester City used to be with Rodri finally back in full fitness, controlling the game. And with, I think, at least in my opinion, I think Donnarumma has been a huge upgrade for them. I did not think that he was going to be that important just because he's not a good play, a good goalkeeper who plays with his feet very well. He's kind of known for making mistakes, but his shot stopping ability is probably better than anybody in the world. He's a big keeper. He covers that goal. He could stretch so far, and I think he's been proven so far in these 3 games since he's joined that he's one of the main reasons why Manchester City is finally starting to get better results. They've only received 1 goal from their last 3, and those games were pretty important games. Man U, Napoli in the Champions League, and then they received a goal against Arsenal in the last minute. So, yeah, I think we're starting to see the resurgence of Manchester City. But how do you see Manchester City so far?
Yeah, definitely doing a lot better. I mean, starting the season losing to Spurs and Brighton, that's not what you want as a City fan or player. And you beat your rival, your home rival, 3-0 comfortably. You go to Champions League, you beat Napoli 2-0, which was, I mean, what was it? They got a red card early on. So, I mean, we'll give it to them, but who knows how that one could have came out. Arsenal comes and they score on you in the last minute. But to be fair, Arsenal was all over them. And City was just super defensive. You know, he did a reverse card on Arteta. You know, they played the low block. They were just holding the lead, and not typically what we see from City. You know, especially a City hungry for goals right now, and you're only 1-0 up against Arsenal. Yeah, Arsenal is super tough, super defensive. It's going to be tough to even get a goal in. You know, but Arsenal was all was all over them that second half, and they managed to get that goal in. Uh, and it just, I mean, it sucks for City, but you play like that, that's what's gonna happen. I mean, Ateta, the same thing happened against Liverpool. Super defensive. Eventually, a goal might creep in. Martinelli, good goal. What a ball by Eze. Uh, but yeah, I think they are better with Rodri and Donnarumma. Donnaruma's a beast, man. He did some crucial saves so far, and Holland, Holland's Holland. He's always going to be scoring goals. Doku's looking really good too. He's just so good with the ball on his feet. He dribbles. It's so hard. It's hard to defend the lad. He's just so fast. He could cut left, right, and as long as you find Holland, you're sicko mode. Then Rodri, defensive beast. I feel like he's still trying to get into it, but it's like riding a bike. You're gonna get it back. So definitely doing better than how they started. Uh, I still think they're not at their best yet. We're still yet to see the best. Let me see what matches they got next. I mean, in the Premier League, they're playing Burnley at home, Brentford away, Everton home, Aston Villa away, Bournemouth. So like they have some pretty comfortable games coming up. We'll see if they struggle with them. I mean, the way they're looking now, it should be dubs. Arsenal's always going to be a tough one, so it makes sense. They only get a point out of it, but they're sitting ninth place right now, which is not where you want to be as a City fan. You're what is it, 9, 7, 8 points from first place, so uh, definitely not what you want as a City fan, but they are looking better. So uh, once you start clicking, I mean, everybody knows the potential of City, what they look like when they're on their A game. So it's just getting there. And I feel like last season we never really got that City. Never came. It was almost like, oh, they're gonna, they would want to come, they want to come, and then they'd lose a random ass game. So it wasn't the City we expect every year, and it hasn't been the case for this season either. But they are looking better. Let's see if they can start clicking again, like the typical City we see. See if they could give it a run. Because right now Liverpool's looking comfortable at top. Besides, and Arsenal seems the only contenders really. You know what? And I'll give Spurs. Spurs is another shout, but I mean we'll get that when we get there. But yeah, as far as City, I mean they're 2-1-2. Um, next 5 games could easily be 5 dubs. Which I think they will get. But yeah, let's see if they struggle with any of those. I'm done
Yeah,
with
I
my
think
answer.
I think this game was um, it was a very tactical game, right? I mean, they scored early on, uh, top goal scorer of the league, 6 goals from 5 games. So it's starting off very very well for Holland this season. And then I think this team. Well, then after that, Man City, right? They went full on defense, try to protect the lead. So it was just kind of like an unfortunate match, I guess, in that sense, where it's kind of like there wasn't really much going on. But I think that this game also suffered a little bit due to injuries. Still, Martin Odegaard's out. Uh, Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus. Those are more rotation players, but I think more than anything, Martin Odegaard being injured. And for Man City, missing Omar Marmoush, Nuri, Sharky. These are all important players to Man City that could definitely make a difference in this game. So maybe that's another reason why they decided to go full defensive, just because they didn't have the options off the bench to really reinforce this squad to go for it. But yeah, kind of a decent game, a high level game, but at the end of the day, when you have an Arsenal versus Man City game, I think 2 years ago this would have been a, an amazing game to watch. But I mean, given their situations, Man City really wants to build from their slow start this season and slowly, make their way up, chipping at the at the table and getting back into the where they should be. I think this season we're gonna see a Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City race more than anything else, more than anybody else. You mentioned Spurs. The Spurs, I mean, they started off very well, beating Man City, um, getting huge wins. I think they beat was it West Ham 5-0 in the league, and then it was 3-0. but I thought they won a big game. They beat Burnley starting off 3-0. Then they beat Tottenham. Sorry, they beat Man City. Went on to lose to Bournemouth, which we already spoke about how they're doing very, very well. Again, they beat West Ham 3-0. They did decent in the Champions League. Villarreal 1-0, kind of a boring game. But then they tie against Brighton. Brighton is up and down, constantly inconsistent. But like we mentioned before, they'll take points from the top six teams. Um, I don't know if I'll have them in a Champions League or a title race, just because I feel like Tottenham has a lot of little things to fix. They have a decent run of games coming up. They have Wolves, they have Leeds, they have Aston Villa, and then they have Everton in the league, which I think if we see anything less than wins all throughout those games, I think that's when we're gonna have a better opinion about where this team really can go, because these are definitely teams that a title contending team should win, especially with a weak Aston Villa. Who knows, by then maybe they've figured some stuff out, but the rest of the teams, Everton, Wolves, and Leeds, should definitely be a win. In my opinion, I would like to see Tottenham contend for the title, because then we'll have four teams really going at it, and it would make this season a lot more interesting. But I think that the loss against Bournemouth and the tie against Brighton, they cause doubts in my mind as far as where this team is really capable of going this season. I think the Man City win is definitely an ego boost for them, fills them with confidence going into this season. But I mean, you can't tie against Brighton, and then on top of that, it's not like they got tied in the last minute. And if anything, this was looking like a more of a Brighton win. They were winning 2-0 at almost halftime, and Richarlison scored right before half, and then an own goal at the end of the game gives them that 2-2 draw. So for me, that kind of signals that they were. I just don't feel like they're up for it this season. I don't know how you see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think title contenders is a huge shout. But it's Spurs. Like you don't really Spurs are gonna do Spurs things. I wouldn't have them as title contenders, but definitely, I think they're a top four finished team this season. Whether the third or fourth, I think that just depends on the other teams. But um, I like their squad. Xavi Simmons. I could do without Richarlison, but they're not looking too bad. But you're right. Brighton were up 2-0. Should have been a Brighton dub. And Spurs managed to get two. They were lucky goals, bro. One of them hits off another player. One of them just bounces in front of Richarlison. So but that's like Spurs shit. Like they're gonna go on and beat City, and then they're gonna go lose to Burnley. So it's like, you're not gonna be a title contender like that. But I don't have Spurs being a title contender. That's obviously too soon for that. Um, es- Especially with the way Liverpool is just not losing. Like you have to be on your A game as of now, but which I think Arsenal can do. Um, they can scrape wins, but Spurs are so inconsistent. But I mean, I do like what they have. I think they have a better team than what they had last year, even though they won the Europa. But I mean, you saw where they finished. I like their manager they have now, and yeah, I mean, Spurs are going to be a fun one to watch because you don't know if it's going to be a whole lot of crap or they're going to ball out. Uh, yeah, I think I have them. You know, not being title contenders. I mean, that'd be nice if they just go on and figure it out and just compete. But I think they're going to definitely fight for that top four spot, which is typically where as you want Spurs to be anyway, if you're a Spurs fan. But yeah, I mean, like, they're looking exciting, and we'll just see. Let's see how they do these next 3-4 games. They should be comfortable. They should be dubs, but knowing Spurs, they're probably going to make it harder for themselves than what they should. But yeah, sitting at third place right now. We'll see how long they last up there.
Yeah, I think these are growing pains. Just because new system, new coach, new players, they went ham in the transfer window, so players are still gelling, getting to know how each other move and everything like that. So I think these are just growing pains, and maybe next season we'll see them, if they do good enough business, we'll see them be more of a title contending team. But rounding it off, we have the Derby, the Merseyside Derby. Liverpool, since the last time we talked about Liverpool, they had continued to finish games a little bit too late than I guess you would want. But this Merseyside Derby, with a little bit of a different squad as far as the offense, Verts took took a little bit of got pushed off a little bit, let Soboslai do his thing at Cam, and Connor Bradley started at right back. Uh, we got to see Eketike still starting over Isak. I wonder when that will switch, but I mean, it's hard to really bench somebody who continues to score. Eketike getting a goal, Gravenberch getting a goal and assist, probably the player of the game for most people. And this game was kind of decided, relatively early. We saw by halftime it was already 2-0. Everton towards the end of the game were, pushing bodies forward, trying to get something. They eventually get one goal and they continue to push, but with not much success. It ends 2-1. Liverpool win. Liverpool dominance as of so far, 5 wins from 5, the opposite of Wolves. They also won in the Champions League, similar fashion to what they had been doing, where they win early, they get tied, and then they take it last minute to end up winning the game. We have a Liverpool fan here, so I'll just leave it to him. How's Liverpool going?
Ah, I love it. I love it. Gravenberch, Gravenberch, he's so godly, man. I mean, he just does it all. He defends, he assists, he scores goals, he tackles. He's a beast, man, and he really showed it out against this Everton team. Like he got that first goal, and then he got the assist to Ekitike. The game before that, he gave the assist to Salah against Atletico Madrid, and he was a monster. Like it was bodying get people off the ball, doing his famous turn where he just lets it roll across. Gravenberch is really stepping up, and top three midfielders for me. Verts takes a break. Isak's still not starting. Many people think this is performance issues, but this is why we got players, the depth of players, uh, for people to take breaks, and when people need to take breaks, it doesn't drop our level at all. I mean, look at without even Isak or Verts starting, we still have Gravenberg, McAllister, Soboslai, Salaka, TK Gakpo as their starting lineup, which could be in many teams, right? And you still have those guys on the bench waiting to come in and could get a tired team ready to go. Next game, all right, they're fully healed, they're fully rested. You're probably going to see Isak and Verge start next game because there's going to be a lot of games this season. There's going to be a lot of rotations, uh, and this is what you're going to see. So I like it. I love it. Gakpo, uh, Gakpo hasn't had the best start to the season. He had a good preseason, but I'm just trying to see if we could get more out of Gakpo than what we did last season. Egatik is a monster, man. He's a monster. He's just he's a cheeky he's a cheeky lad. He does quick passes 1-2. He's got the he's got that like finesse to him, and he could strike the ball from anywhere really and get a goal. So Salah's gonna be do what Salah does. I feel like he's getting comfortable, using the players around him. 1-2 passes, that little chip ball to Gravenberg was a peach of a ball. McAllister is our little, little rugby player in there, just causing issues. And then Soboslai, man, he's the heart and soul of the team. He's an engine. He does it all. He fights for every ball, and he will follow that same ball and try to get a goal in or a pass. Or he's a beast, man. And yeah, everything's starting to really gel better together. I mean, once we get that 2-0 lead, what's going on here? Why do they have to let off? Why should Everton be scoring a goal? Why should we have to be kind of like, oh no, like on our toes? They're just making it hard on themselves. Luckily, it didn't come down to a tie, and they had to get 90-minute plus, winner. So that's always a good thing. No heart attacks from your boy this time around. But when we're 2-0 up, when was it? Before even first half, we should be putting these games to rest. Same thing with Atletico Madrid. Same thing with this Everton game, and we need to just be ruthless. We have the team to do it. We get complacent, and it's luckily it hasn't came to bite us in the butt, but um, it's gotten close. I mean, you can't say much. They haven't lost a game. They've undefeated, ones only. Fair play, but none of these games have been 4-5-0s. They've been 3-2s, 2-1s, 1-0. So definitely close, but they're scraping the wins. I feel like they know how to win games. They just don't know how to, demolition derby these guys. So still working the mix. I mean, it's a whole new team, damn near, especially the front. The front four, the front six, whatever you want to call it. But it's just nice having those players just ready to come in, and it's not some academy player who's still questionable. You got Ekitike subbing in for Isak. Gagpo. All right, put in Verts. Like, just ballers, man. And then you got Frimpong, you got Bradley, Kirkes, or Robertson. Like, I've never seen this from Liverpool, so it's just a good feeling to see. Finally having that depth that you see teams like Madrid have. Um, I almost said Barca, but I don't think they have that depth now because they're broke. But you know what I'm talking about. You have at least two ballers for each position, which is for these long seasons, and they're only getting longer. Is what it's going to have to take to win many trophies. And I think Liverpool's really taking that step to it. And uh, let me see who they play next, because I think they play. I mean, obviously, there's a cup game against Sunderland, so that should.
Southampton.
Oh no, Southampton.
Yeah.
And then they play Crystal Palace away. So both teams undefeated. One of them's going to go down. Well, I mean, I guess they could tie. But Crystal Palace has been tough, man, especially against Liverpool. I think yeah, for the what is that
Community
title
Shield.
called? Community Shield. Yeah, they beat Liverpool to it. Before that, they tied. Yeah, the last two games, Crystal Palace hasn't taken an L from Liverpool, and they're playing at home. So that's going to be a good game to watch. Crystal Palace looking sick, so I don't know. Let's see how they do. After that, they have Chelsea away, United at home, Brentford away, Aston Villa. So three tricky games coming up for Liverpool. Let's see if they drop points. If they manage to still go win all three of those, and I don't know who's going to catch up to them, because they're already 5 points ahead of Arsenal, and that's the only other team that's probably going to get close. So a big 3 games ahead for Liverpool. So we'll see. We'll see how they do. We'll see how they do.
Yeah, I think Liverpool has. They. I mean, personally, you would. I feel like it just makes you feel a little bit more comfortable, more confident if win these games and it's easy and you get to walk away from them. But at the end of the day, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Soccer's about winning. It's about winning, putting more goals in the opposition's goal than you receive. The winner stays on, essentially. So, um, you could complain and you could be like, well, what can they really do if they keep on receiving these goals, if they keep on getting caught up when they're having these leads? But it's how you finish, and it's not how you start. So Liverpool is at the moment probably the team to beat in all competitions. Probably one of the stronger teams in the world. I would say PSG, Liverpool, maybe Barca, Madrid, and Bayern are right now the top 5 teams in the world. Um, but mostly Liverpool and PSG. So as the season progresses, we'll be here to give you guys our view on things. Anything else you want to add before we end?
Um, I'm surprised you didn't mention Arsenal that top five,
We'll see.
but we'll
I
see.
mean, they lost to Liverpool. I think that kind of tells you what it is. Of course, they were missing some players, so that's one argument. We'll go forward, I guess, throughout the season, and we'll see how things go. But right now, me personally, I don't see Arsenal above Barca, and I think Barca is the lower of the top five.
Bayern's looking really good, so
Yeah.
I agree with you on that one. Real Madrid, I think they're really good right now, and they're top of La Liga. Mbappe's looking like he's really hungry for that Ballon d'Or, and PSG is a beast, man. I think PSG is the team to beat right now. Liverpool up there with them, and I would say Real Madrid and Bayern. I mean, Arsenal is always a tough one, but I feel like they're just missing. I don't know what they're missing, but they're super good defensively, and I think that's what it is. They're just really good defensively. They're hard to get scored on, but they're just I don't know. You look at Bayern's attack, you look at PSG's attack, you look at Real Madrid's attack, and then you look at Arsenal's attack. I feel like it doesn't compete. So that's what's going to win you games, goals. You can't rely on corners all the time. So maybe you're right. Maybe they're not a top five team, but can they prove us wrong in the Champions League? We'll see. But yeah, we're gonna have more episodes, guys. Keeping up with the Premier League, other leagues, Champions Leagues, pretty much whatever we really want to talk about. If you guys have any suggestions, leave it down in the comments below. We really enjoy making these. We like to get to know you guys. Leave some comments. Talk to us. Want to make a community out of this. We love soccer. If you love soccer too, then that's what we're going to keep talking about. So we'd like to hear your thoughts. Again, let us know in the comments. If you want to hear more stuff about this, just leave a like, subscribe. That lets us know, you know, that you guys are enjoying these videos. And yeah, I mean, we enjoy them. We enjoy making them. We're probably gonna make them. We're definitely gonna continue just making them anyway. But yeah, that's the Premier League. After game week 5, Liverpool top of the league. Can anybody catch up to them? Arsenal, City, Chelsea, Spurs, maybe. But as of now, 5 points ahead. Not looking too good. Champions League coming up. Exciting for the season, man. So yeah, if you have anything else to say, Derz. In that case, that's been your boys, Efrain and Derz.
Peace.
Peace.